Hi Peggy, this is Dennis Clark, the Dennis Clark Golf Academy. Review of your golf lesson from Monday, March 24th. The bottom line report here is that you have a really pretty nice swing. And an excellent setup, by the way. There's not much I'd change. I did change your grip just a little bit. Get your hands a little more unit on the club. But one of the features of your swing that we're going to try to work on a little bit through your series of lessons is going to be your your swing gets what I call too locked up. What locked up means that the arms and club and the body are working too much together instead of having some freedom to the arms and club. There's a job, so to speak, that the arms and hands and club have, and a job the body has. And while they have to work in unison, while they have to work in sync, the job is separate. So I want to make you more aware of using your wrist, your arms, and your hands through the golf ball. And it's a difficult thing. It's like rubbing your head and patting your stomach at first. But that's generally how we got some of those distance factors for you yesterday. You have a great ability to swing your arms, speed that most gals would love to have. And if I look at this top of your swing, right about here is where I'd like to get some more wrist hinge. And I'll show you what I mean. Stacy Lewis from the LPGA Tour. Right now the wrist starts to cock. Hers is a little bit more one plane like yours is, but you see the top of it where the shoulders have turned and the wrists are now hinged up here. Okay. Yours goes around and never really quite get that hinged. So it's what we call laid off at the top, pointed a little bit over here to the left. Club's pointed out in this direction. And the weight leans into the ball just a little bit for you. So you start about here. And your weight goes a little bit out toward your toes and the club goes laid off. And rocking, whatever you want to call that, a little bit of a reverse pivot. But it's mostly, instead of leaning on the left foot as much, you're leaning into the ball a little bit. Okay, and that can cause that S word that we have every now and then, the shank shot. You see how there's very little gap between the legs here? Her legs are much quieter than yours. You have a straight right leg, and the right knee is going down instead of in toward the left. Like hers is coming a little bit toward her right. Yours is going down that way. So we quiet that down just a little bit and get your turn a little bit more in line. So it's a little more level, like hers is a little more balanced than yours. So you've leaned into the golf ball just a little bit. There we go. And that's an iron on the left, there's your driver on the right. Okay. And then when you come down, you want to feel an independent, with the wrist hinge a little bit, you want to feel a little more independence of using the wrist. And then we started working on learning to turn your body a little bit better. One of the things that happens for you is the body gets just a little static or a little quiet coming through the ball. And if we can release the club, which is a big factor for you, where you don't have a lot of forearms and hands rolling through the golf ball to release the club. So right there, we call that the end of your backswing turn. We get the hands up over the shoulders just a little bit more, right about here, with a wrist cock. And then you would start to swing the club down. A little more independently. As long as it goes that far back in your swing, it's always going to be a little bit locked up to your body. So we would shoot for a little bit more over the right shoulder, like you'll see Stacy do here. little bit more over the right shoulder with a lot more hinge to the wrist. Yeah, that's going to give us some power when you get into it. Think of the carpenter with a hammer. You know, and the technical term for it, I think, is ulnar radial deviation, but if you just feel that wrist snapping down and rolling over through the impact, we get a lot more power out of it. Just like you did yesterday, because you have great speed to the club. See, that's being swung down a lot with your body. And it's being held on to a lot coming through with your body. You're going to see a more free motion here where she snaps into it. There's the snap into the ball. And then the club comes right back over here because she snapped her wrist through the golf ball. So you're doing a lot of swings with the arm and club tied pretty much up to the body, and we're going to try to free that up in your lessons. Okay? Make sure you hit balls with your feet completely together, or one foot slightly behind you, up on your toe, your right foot on your toe behind you, left foot, and just hit some 7-irons off the low tee, using the club and your arms. Feel like you make a shoulder turn. You still make a nice shoulder turn in the backswing, but you feel real handsy and armsy through the golf ball to free you up a little bit. We add some leverage, another angular momentum feature to your golf swing. You're going to have some really good distance because you already have great speed and you have a nice swing. We're just going to try to free up those arms a little bit as you come down. You don't even really have a path issue. I mean, you come down pretty good on the inside. Move through it nicely. We added this little turn too for you yesterday, and this was later in the lesson, and that's very good. So we're going to free the wrist up, learn some release, and learn to bring your body through. Other than that, your setup and your backswing are really good. All right, take care.